Welcome along, fellow Dark Magician enthusiasts, to another video. Today's video is my first video that I've made in a while, ever since I got my PC set up. I do apologize for the gap in content, guys. I've been doing my best to, grind the ranked duels to try and get some replays out. Unfortunately, I couldn't exactly do that this month, taking little bits of breaks here and there just to try and cool my head from dueling, because when playing Dark Magician in the current meta, it can become quite a grind, and it can be demotivating when you're facing the same top deck over and over and over. And my head hasn't even been in speed duel that much recently. I've been having quite a lot of fun in Rush. But anyways, besides that, I do have something for you today, Dark Magician fans. I have deck reviews. Not just one, but two. I've seen that someone has managed to KoG with a speed deck, and very big props. We'll go through the decks. I won't go into them too much to avoid making this video extremely long, because I do want to show the replays for both Rush and Speed. So what we will do, we'll go to deck lists. We will go to the submitted deck list. We will filter out King of Games. And we will have a look for two specific search terms. Dark Magical Circle will find our speed content, and Magician Shuffle will find our rush content. So if we have a look for Dark Magical Circle, we see that Zap here got a King of Games ranker with Battle Chronicle. Props to you, Zap. So we'll have a look at the deck, and then we'll check out the replay. Now, as you can see here, it's a 30 card deck with a 9 card extra deck. And it has some interesting choices, which I'll briefly explain as I go through it. So 1, Chronicle Magician. The skill lets you normal summon this without tributing, and it's a good body for making Z's plays. Very good stuff. Then we have 2, Apprentice Illusion Magician, which Apprentice Illusion Magician helps us search Dark Magician, and is also good for boosting Dark Spellcasters' attack points during damage calculation. Good ratio, good numbers. 1, Dark Magician Girl. Typically you only play 1 when you're playing the Dark Magicians, so this is a good number. 3 copies of Effect Veiler, which Effect Veiler is a pretty good hand trap, especially if you're going second and your opponent's playing a combo heavy deck. You need some interruptions to disrupt your opponent, and Effect Veiler does that pretty well. So you can use this with Battle Chronicle. I would not recommend it with Bane of Darkness. 3 Effect Veiler, good choice of card. Then we have 1 Blackluster Soldier. You can normal summon this without tributing with the skill. Plus, you can summon it with Successor Soul. So this is pretty good. It's also useful for making Dark Cavalry and some other plays as well. Good choice to include Blackluster Soldier. Nice card. Then we have 3 copies of Dark Magician. Dark Magician, because of course you always need to have 3. You need access to DM at all times. So 3 is the most you play. 1 Successor Soul, you don't really need more than 1. 1 is a good number here. 1 Secret of Dark Magic, again, same with Successor Soul. You don't really need more than 1 copy, since it's pretty searchable. You only need 1. Good stuff. Then we have 2 Summoner's Art. 2 is a pretty good number. That way, once you've searched 2 Dark Magicians, then you don't really need to search the others, since you don't really need more copies, since you can just get the other one out with Successor Soul. And through other methods as well. So 2 is a good number. Then we have 2 copies of Book of Moon. Book of Moon is a good substitute for Book of Eclipse. The only problem is with Book of Moon is that it needs to target, and it'll only change 1 face-up monster that is on the field to face-down defense position. Still, good card, good for disrupting your opponent, especially if you're going first. You can set up some disruptions. It's a good card. Good card. Then we have 3 copies of Dark Magical Circle. Good number to max out on, because with Circle, we need to search DM as much as possible just to start our combo. And 3 helps you search it out the most. So 3 Circle, good stuff. We have 1 Dark Magic Expanded, which this works really well when you're playing 3 DM and then you add a DMG into the mix. You can get to the 3+ effect of Dark Magic Expanded pretty easily. So Dark Magic Expanded at 1, good card, good amount, and especially given that you can search it out with the skill. 1 Dark Magic Inheritance. This is a card that I'm still iffy on because the only problem with Dark Magic Inheritance is that you need to banish 2 spell cards from your graveyard just to use it. And if you aren't able to activate 2 spell cards, if you're not able to get 2 spell cards in your graveyard before you can use this card is pretty much worthless. But if you can use 2 spell cards, then this card can provide you some value. It's an iffy situation card, like, you know, like it's very situational, but it can work. 1 copy of Dark Magic Attack, because of course, back row removal is pretty big, and if we can eliminate all of them at once, we're winning. So yeah, 1 copy of Dark Magic Attack, good stuff. Then we have 2 copies of Magicalized Fusion. Sometimes you can go 3 to increase the chances you draw into it. If you're not summoning that many monsters from the extra deck though, like fusion monsters, you can use just 2, or even just 1. It just depends on what monsters you're summoning, but 2 is a good number. Then we have Thousand Knives at 1. Thousand Knives is a very outdated card, and it's not that great anymore. The only thing I would recommend you using this for is for discard fodder for Dark Cavalry, since Eternal Soul can search it. Besides that, Thousand Knives, not really good choice of card, but if it worked for Zap, it worked. Then we have 1 copy of Crackdown. Crackdown is a pretty good limit 3 trap, since you can just steal your opponent's monsters right out from under their nose. And if that monster has any beneficial continuous effects, you can just use those effects for yourself. It's a very good card. You will need to go first in order to use this, or unless you're going second, you're able to break your opponent's board. Then you can set this down and wait for your opponent to try and play further, and then you just disrupt them even further. Then we have 2 copies of Compulsory Evacuation Device. Compulsory is still a pretty good limit 3 trap. Very good limit 3 card. If your opponent makes any extra deck monsters, you can just activate Compulsory and bounce it straight back to the extra deck, since a lot of extra deck monsters want to go to the graveyard. They don't want to be back in the extra deck, they want to stay on the field or be sent to the graveyard for any follow-up effects and so forth. So Compulsory works really well. Or in the most cases, if you can, you'd prefer to banish them so that your opponent doesn't have any access to them whatsoever. But if you bounce them back to the extra deck, that means they have to invest more time, more resources just to getting them back out. So good choice of card. Then we have Eternal Soul. This is a single copy. Can be a bit of a problem, but it can work. The problem with 1 copy of Eternal Soul is if it blows up, like if it's banished, or if it's sent to the graveyard or anything like that, your entire game plan with Eternal Soul and Circle and summoning DM constantly to banish stuff, that game plan goes out the window. So you do have to be careful with Eternal Soul. But still, 1 copy can be alright. Then we move on to the extra deck. We have 1 copy of Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which is pretty mandatory in Battle Chronicle builds. 1 copy of the Dark Magicians, because, you know, that's one of the main fusions that we will summon out consistently. 1 copy of Dark Cavalry, which you can make using Blackluster Soldier and DM with secrets, if they're both in your hand. Or if you have a warrior monster in your graveyard, you can use Magicalized Fusion and DM from your graveyard instead. Then we have 1 copy of Skull Knight. This is good also for the Dark Magicians plays. If you haven't got a way to summon the Dark Magicians using Secrets of Dark Magic from your hand, you can just use Magicalized Fusion, banishing Skull Knight and DM to summon the Dark Magicians. It can work pretty well. 1 copy of the Great Double Caster Caster. If you make this monster with Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon using Magicalized Fusion, you have a 4,500 attack monster that can attack directly. And if your opponent's not aware of it, this can score quite a number of wins. It's a very good card. And Battle Chronicle lets us set this up pretty easy. Then we have 1 copy of Gaia Knight, the Force of Earth, which is a non-effect warrior monster in the extra deck. So this does eliminate 1 extra deck monster that I would typically use, like number 11 Big Eye. But hey, sometimes if you need the extra deck stuff, if you need more searches, like when you have 1, 2, 3, 4 quick play spells you can search with the skill, sometimes you just need the extra monster to send, and this can work. This can help get Dark Cavalry out easy as well. The interesting choice, personally, I use Flame Swordsman since it's only a rare card, and you can get it from like tickets. But if Gaia Knight, the Force of Earth works, then it works. Then we have 1 copy of Ebon Illusion Magician, which this is a pretty good card for DM since it summons out DM from deck or hand, and then when you declare an attack with DM, you can banish, or you can target a card your opponent controls and banish it, which is good stuff. Classic DM rank 7 play. You can set up with Chronicle Magician and DM. Then we have Nightmare Phoenix, a generic link 2, which is good for spell and trap removal. Good stuff. Then we have one copy of Imduck the World Chalice Dragon for our Successor Soul plays. And this is also good for start of damage step purposes. If it's pointing to a monster and you try to attack it, you can use its effect and destroy that opponent's monster. So now let's get into the replay. So we'll have a quick look through this replay. I'll try to go through as quick as I can. We'll let the replay play out completely, and we'll see how Zap performs. So it's a Kaiba versus Yugimoto match. And Kaiba is going first. Let's see what happens. Blue Eyes Dimension. So it's an older Blue Eyes skill, but it's still a pretty good skill for Blue Eyes. Personally, if I was playing Blue Eyes, I'd use Battle Chronicle. But Blue Eyes Dimension can work with some other specific purposes, like Blue Eyes Chaos Max, which is a pretty strong card. So the opponent's going to set a card, activating Melody Awakening Dragon, sending Dragon Spirit of Light to graveyard, adding Blue Eyes Alternative and Blue Eyes White Dragon to their hand. Then Kaiba's going to reveal Blue Eyes, summoning Alternative to the field, and pass turn. So Yugi is going to summon DM, going to activate the skill to add a quick play spell, Secret to Dark Magic, sending Blue Eyes Ultimate to the graveyard, use Secret to Dark Magic, fusion summoning Dark Cavalry, just straight off the rip, nice. Then they're going to activate Magical Eyes Fusion, banishing BLS and Blue Eyes Ultimate to summon the Great Double Caster. And then Kaiba's going to activate Book of Eclipse, setting everything, and then during the end phase, everything on Yugi's side of the field is going to flip, giving Yugi 2 extra cards. Kaiba's going to activate skill on his turn, sending Blue Eyes White Dragon from hand and Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon from graveyard from deck to the graveyard, and adding Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn here is going to activate, targeting Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon, summoning it. Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon is going to try and activate, but Yugi has Effect Veiler. Yeah, Yugi activates Effect Veiler, targeting Blue Eyes Abyss. Kaiba activates Book of Moon, targeting Abyss. And so Dark Cavalry activates to negate Book of Moon, and so Abyss Dragon is negated. So both monsters flip. Blue Eyes White Dragon is summoned to the field. Blue Eyes is going to attack into the Great Double Caster, and the Great Double Caster during the end of the damage step is going to summon back Blackluster Soldier. Abyss Dragon is going to destroy Dark Cavalry. Alternative is going to attack into BLS. Abyss Dragon will try to activate during the end phase, but cannot because it's still negated. Then we have Yugi searching for turn. Activates Summoner's Art, adding Dark Magician. Normal summons Dark Magician, good stuff. Activating skill, grabbing Dark Magic Inheritance. Sending Skull Knight to the graveyard. And now, because there is 2 spell cards in the graveyard with Secrets, Magical Eyes Fusion, and Summoner's Art, Inheritance is live. So Inheritance will be activated. Adding Dark Magical Circle to the hand. Then we're going to activate Dark Magical Circle. Not grabbing anything from the top of the deck. Going to Link Summon into Imduck the World Chalice Dragon. Imduck is going to attack into Abyss Dragon. And then at the start of the damage step, it will destroy Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon with its optional damage step effect. Good stuff. Now, Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon is going to activate on Kaiba's turn, giving Blue Eyes 1,000 extra attack. Yugi activates Eternal Soul, summoning Dark Magician from the graveyard, banishing Blue Eyes White Dragon, and winning the match. Good stuff. Props to you, Zap, for the King of Games rank up match. Good stuff. If you guys want to try this deck out, deck's on screen for you guys to, try and copy, have a look at. I would say I would make some changes myself, changing out some cards here and there, but this looks fairly solid for a Battle Chronicle deck. Yeah, good stuff. Now we are going to go into Rush. Chip Impact managed to get to King of Games with DM. Good stuff. So we'll have a look at the deck here, which does have some interesting choices, but nevertheless we'll go through it. We have one copy of Battle Tested Gaia the Fierce Knight, which is a limited 3 card. It's a good fusion engine, and it has a massive upside where you can tribute summon it in attack position by attributing one face up level 5 or higher monster, which is good stuff, and just provides easy access to fusions, which can do, just give you so much damage. Personally, I would want to use maximum copies of Secret Order, which would get rid of fusion access through Battle Tested Gaia, but hey, sometimes it works. It's good stuff. One copy of Dark Sword Magician. You don't need more than one. One is good, because a lot of decks are summoning high-level monsters, so you can get Dark Sword Magician out pretty easy. Yeah, good stuff. Then we have 3 copies of Dark Magician God, because you do need 3 at all times, because like DMG is like the only DM monster that we have that we can max out on 3. That lets us activate skill. So yeah, 3 is good stuff. I do like the Starlight on this DMG, by the way. Very nice. Very nice. We have 1 Brick Phone Yan Yan, which during turn you normal summon the card, you place a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck, and a face-up monster on your opponent's field loses 500 attack until the end of his turn. Interesting choice, not something I've played before. Might have to start trying it, never know. 1 copy of Seven Sword Sorcerer, which I have used this before in Rush decks. It was an easy way to summon DM. Sometimes you do need to clear your field and summon DM from your graveyard. Good stuff. 3 copies of Rising Light Angel Essel, which I have used before and recommended, because during your turn you haven't special summoned, you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard, and if you activate it going second on your first turn of you going second, you can special summon a monster from either player's graveyard, which is crazy. Good card, good number at 3, especially if you want to mill cards. Good stuff. Then we have 1 copy of Light Sorcerer of Sanctity. I've run 3 personally, because when you combine 3 of them together, you can reduce your opponent's monsters by a lot, like their attack by a lot of points. So yeah, 1 is alright. You're only going to get 300 attack reduction out of it though. So if you can try and combine more of them together, you get more. But still, good card. 3 copies of Rhythmical Performer, which I haven't used myself. Which this is actually really good. You can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, and your opponent will send the top card of their deck to the graveyard. If they sent a spell trap card to the graveyard by this effect, you get to draw a card. So not only are you milling your own deck, you're also milling your opponent's deck as well. And if they hit the right kind of card, you can get an extra card from it, which is good. Then we have 1 copy of Ultimate Flag Beast Boltracorn, which, if you have no other monsters on your field, you can turn off one of your opponent's spell and trap cards until the end of their next turn, which is, it's a really, really good effect, especially if you haven't got any back row removal, and you just want to make one of their spells and traps unusable. You can just, freeze it in place, and they can't really do anything with it until they finish their next turn. So good stuff. 1 copy of Dark Magician's Curtain. I've personally run 3 because we need access to DM as much as possible. Then once we get access to DM or DMG, then we can start comboing heavy from there. 1 is still alright though, because it still helps you search. And once you have the cards in rotation, then you can just go from there. 1 copy of the man himself. He's a legend monster, so look, we can only have 1. Good stuff. 1 copy of Cursed Dragon, which pairs with the Battle Tested Gaia. You wouldn't really need to run more than 1 if you're only running 1 Gaia, so good card, good number. Then our legend spell of choice is Pot of Greed, because we love drawing cards. Pot of Greed for us is good. 2 copies of Secret Order, which is one of your main methods of summoning out DM, plus boosting its attack to beat over your opponent's big monsters. Very, very good card. It's a limited 3 for a reason. Good stuff. 1 copy of Thousand Knives, since it's a limited 1 card, and it's our best removal option possible. Very, very good stuff. I wish this was like limited 2 or something, but guessing Konami doesn't want DM to be too powerful, so limit 1, we can only have 1. Then we have 1 copy of Monster Calling, which you send a monster from your hand to the graveyard, you get to draw a card, then you can special summon a non-effect monster with 2000 attack, Curse of Dragon, or 2100 defense, Dark Magician, or even the non-effect Fusion Gaia monster. You can special summon it from your graveyard to your field. So, Monster Calling is good. If you max out the ratios of this card, it just enables more way to get into, or get DM onto the field. It's good stuff. Good card. One's alright though. One is good. Then we have 3 copies of Talismanic Seal Array. This is very good for reducing the attack of your opponent's monsters. You will need to shuffle back 4 monsters. However, still it's pretty easy to do once you're tributing a lot of monsters and you're getting a lot of monsters into the graveyard. Can be easy to set up, especially if you got like Rising Light Angel Essel and stuff like that with Rhythmical Performer. Works out really well. 2 copies of Dark Magic Attack. Normally I would run 3, have max amount of back row removal. Guessing 2 works for this player. Yeah, DM is the only deck that can destroy all spells and traps on the opponent's field. Very, very busted. This is why I run 3 at the most, because it's fun to watch your opponent's back row get wiped not once, not twice, but 3 times. Then we have Legend Spell of Choice, Compulsory Evacuation Device. This is a very, very powerful Legend trap card in Rush at the moment. In Duel Links, very, very good. Especially if your opponent fusion summons a monster, you can just bounce it back straight away to the extra deck, and then they've just wasted 3 cards, at least, getting a monster out. It's a very, very good card. Then we have 1 copy of Buffered Slime, since you can only get 1. This is good for reducing damage, but it only works when an opponent's level 8 or lower monster declares an attack. Good card. Then we have in the extra deck, so we had 30 main deck and 6 extra deck. We have 3 copies of Swift Gaia, the Dragon Champion, which is a monster you would normally be summoning, since you'll be able to deal piercing damage with this monster, and if you've got no cards in your hand, you'll be able to draw. Then we have 3 copies of Gaia the Dragon Champion, non-effect fusion, so if you summon this out, you'll be able to use Monster Calling to summon it back out again. Which looks alright. Now, we'll go on to the replay. Personally, I haven't used the Gaia card since they got nerfed. But we'll see how this duelist plays out. So, it's Swyjo's Will Valkyr versus Yogoha. We'll see what's going on here. And I'll try and explain it quickly as I can. Okay, no skills. Now, skills don't typically activate at the start of Rush duels. You'll only see what your opponent's playing once this game starts. So, setting 4 pass. Uo activates Magician Shuffle turn 2. Revealing DMG, sending DM to graveyard, Pot of Greed to draw 2, summoning Rising Light Angel Essel, summoning out DM, Dark Magic Attack, blowing up the back row, which was Dark Hole Device, doing some tribute summons. We've got 2 DMGs and DM on the field, just attacking into monsters. Void Velg Fusion Draw is the skill that Swyjo is going to activate, and they're going to do the same thing again. Set 4 pass, which is going to be very annoying, but we always draw up to 5. 1,000 Knives to destroy a monster, good stuff. Then we're just going to attack and set 2 before attacking. Going to go again. Let's see what happens. Summoning Void Velg Globule and Void Velg Power Rider. Summoning out Dark Prophet, shuffling 3 to grab Fusion. And then, I believe they're going to activate Fusion, is my guess. Yep, activate Fusion, using Dark Prophet and Void Velg Globule to summon out Protostar. Now, Protostar, you can add a level 4 or lower Galaxy type monster from your graveyard to your hand. And if you've got Dark Hole in your graveyard, you can choose a level 8 monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So we'll see what happens. Protostar grabs Dark Prophet. You're going to normal summon Dark Prophet again. Use the shuffle effect again. Shuffle 3, grab Fusion. And then they'll do another Fusion summon, which they'll use Power Rider and Dark Prophet to make a Void Velg Apocalypse. There, I am messing up the names. I am so sorry. This is good art. Cool art. Send a card from hand to graveyard. It gains 1,000 attack. Can't be destroyed by card effects. And if you activate this effect during the main phase, you special summon the card. They'll be able to add Dark Hole from the graveyard to the hand. But you might be thinking, there's no Dark Hole in Rush in Duel Links at the moment. Dark Hole Device, however, becomes Dark Hole while it's in the graveyard, which is very, very nasty. So they'll activate the effect, sending Crysaor, adding Dark Hole Device. Dark Hole Device will nuke the entire field, except for Apocalypse, and then Dark Hole Device will allow them to add Power Rider, normal summoning Power Rider. Uo activates Buffered Slime, taking 2,000 damage from Buffered Slime's effect, since their life points were 3,000 or higher, and they take no further battle damage, I will clarify, for the rest of their turn. Good stuff. Drawing until they have 5. Special summoning Dark Sword Magician. Talismanic Sealer Ray, shuffling 4. I believe they're going to reduce the attack of Apocalypse. Yes, they are. Set 4. Attack into Apocalypse and pass. Oh, wow. That is pretty big. So, Swaijo activates Polymerization Legend spell. Sending Requiem and Crysaur to the graveyard to summon a Gigantomachia. Which Gigantomachia will be able to destroy a spell trap card on the field and gain the ability to attack twice. Hammer Crush is going to activate, sending Rice Terrace Crisis, very strong trap, to destroy the remaining back row, and they're just going to smash into all the opponent, or into Yo's monsters. Yo's going to draw again, summoning out Dark Magician's Curtain. Ooh, we have value here. Rhythmical Performer, sending top card from graveyard and sending a trap card so they can draw a card. Good stuff. Activating Curtain to excavate top 4. Reveals DMG, grabs the DMG. We got your activating skill, revealing DMG, grabbing DM, and sending DMG to graveyard. Tribute summoning DM. Then we have Brickphone Yan Yan normal summon. And because of that, Execute Writing is going to activate, summoning a monster, reducing DM's attack and Brickphone Yan Yan's attack. Brickphone Yan Yan is going to reduce the attack of Void Velg Power Rider. And we're going to Tribute Summon DMG. Good stuff. Secret Order to summon DM, but the opponent surrenders, and Yuo wins the match. Crazy stuff. This was a cool match to watch. But pretty well with no back row left on the field. Yuo had this in the bag the moment they had DMG on the field. Because all they could do is just attack into Dark Prophet. And yeah, that's game. So, wow. Very good stuff. I will say big props to the two duelists, Chip Impact and Zap as well, for making it to King of Games last month. Props to you. I know I couldn't do it, but this is what I like doing, showing off other people and their skills, because there are plenty of other people out there that are talented duelists that can get to King of Games, and if they can get to King of Games, everyone else can as well with enough time and effort. With that being said though, the meta in both Speed and Rush is very, very tough, which I will be making a video on that soon. Just to explain like you know, is it still possible to KoG with DM? Which yes it is. And like why like we've been so power crept, and like if there's anything we can do about it in the meantime until we get new support and stuff like that. Just be a video I'll be making in the future. But yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck reviews. Once again, big props to Zap and Chip Impact. And yeah, before I end the video though, however, I do have to give a shout out to Emma Valentine, which I have them on screen now. I got talking with them in a server, and they shouted out my channel, and so I thought as a courtesy back, I would like to shout out Emma Valentine. If anyone watching likes Six Samurai, and likes to see like their history in duelings, or even see how they play in Master Duel, you can check out their channel. Deck mains gotta stick together. I main Dark Magician, they main Six Samurai, and they're an expert in it. Go watch them if you're interested in Six Samurai. And yeah, thank you to Emma Valentine for the shout out. With that being said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.